I ate at this cool little English fish and chips place in the middle of Indiana by myself the other day. That's strange, I know, but there it was right off the exit, right off the highway. I think it was near Fort Wayne. There was nothing else there but a gas station on one corner and then this English restaurant that served Smittix and Guinness and shepherd's pie and smashed peas and fish and chips. It was pretty good. Anyway, there I am all by myself. I'm enjoying the British meal and a pint when a group of 5 men come in and they sit at the table right next to me. I think that they'd all just gotten off of work, probably a physical job, a dirty job, an outdoor job. They sit, hungry for a hot meal they'd earned. They sit. Right at that table next to me, they sit. Quietly. Really quiet. Like awkwardly quiet. And I couldn't help but notice the silence. It seemed to me like they had come into this cool little restaurant, hoping to enjoy food and share some time together. And then they just couldn't quite figure out how to connect. They sat staring down, not at phones or electronic devices, just down. I don't know their stories. I don't know the relationships that they had or didn't have. I don't know how they grew up or what their social framework was. But I did sense that they seemed to want to connect, but just couldn't get it started. They'd probably spent the day doing work together, talking about work. And while they were busy working and talking about work, they'd probably naturally squeeze in some chatter about other parts of their life. But now, as they faced each other instead of facing work, they seemed frozen, lost, unable to simply be with each other. Of course, I don't know what was really going on. I could be way off. Heck, I could have been projecting my own psychological issues related to relationships I have in my own life right onto that restaurant scene that had nothing to do with me. But my experience of that scene of those men was striking. I think there are a lot of people out there who struggle to connect with others when they're not entertained or buffered by some third thing to look at or to work on or to do. There are some good authors who have written about this phenomenon, especially as it often manifests itself in men or people who identify as men. Societally, many men have only known connection when it is mediated by a third thing. 2 men often connect best when they're playing golf or watching sports or playing video games or building something or fixing something. You get the idea. When we, men, are shoulder to shoulder, we can connect. But face to face is not something we have a lot of experience with. This model goes back a long ways. There are biblical examples of men struggling to connect. One of them I'm reminded of is the book of Job. Now, Job, that book, is a complicated part of the Bible, and I don't even think I really understand it at all. But there's a famous part where Job's 3 friends come visit him after he's had a horrible run of really bad things that have happened to him. They just show up and they sit in silence with him for 7 days. They just sit silently for 7 days. The pious might read that part of the story as holy togetherness, and I like that. The cynical might read that part of the story as men being unable to care for each other, and I can relate to that. I doubt either of those things are accurate interpretations of this old ahistorical tale, but it is worth considering the pros and cons of being able to sit silently with each other. On the plus side, there is presence and peace and shared mourning when we sit in silence with each other. And on the other hand, there is awkwardness, there are unspoken truths, and there are unknown longings. Here's maybe my point in all of this. There are a whole lot of us, especially those of us who identify as men, who have struggled with an inability to connect with each other because of old cultural and learned patterns of behavior. In the moments when we need to be able to sit and face each other and connect in meaningful, real ways, we're out of practice. And we can often let each other down. I want sacred connection for everyone, but my heart especially went out to the men at that fish and chips place and men everywhere who are just out of practice when it comes to connecting. Here's a short blessing. May you be a practiced and ready sacred connector. May your heart soften in quiet moments, and may your eyes lift to see the faces around you with love. May your hands find new ways to offer comfort, and your shoulders become a place of rest for others. Amen. Hey, Between is about you. Take this message out into your life this week and fill the space between you and every person you encounter with your sacred light. My favorite church is the space between people. Now go with God's love and create the church between.